I rewatched Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it hit me like a train. The jacket that Daniel Kwan is wearing at the Oscars is the same sweater that Michelle Kwan is wearing in the laundromat party at the end of the film.
Michelle who? The
Thanks,
ice
baby.
skater?
Well, this is I'm not gonna put this in the video anyway. I'm former Movie Trivia Schmodown singles champion Marisol McKee, aka Lady Justice.
And I'm former Movie Trivia Schmodown singles champion Adam the Coyote Collins.
The Oscars have wrapped.
Yes indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And quite a show this year.
I know we came into this apprehensive but still hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta say, getting on the other end of it, this was one of the most delightful Oscars in recent memory. Free of controversy. And this was exactly what I talked about. Going back to the basics. Just, decadence, dignity, respect, simplicity, elegance.
I'm with you. Like, I'm here for the Joe Biden of the Oscars this year. Like, this was like a very trimmed down, like, safe bet ceremony, and I was here for it.
This was the Oscars that I've watched as a kid.
Well, it's been kind of a bumpy ride the past couple of years, to say the least. Because for the films released in 2020, it was the COVID year, so it was a trimmed down ceremony, and it was kind of weird the way it was formatted. But I think we were all just grateful that there was an Oscars that year. But then last year happened, and we were also happy to be back in the venue. And then what went down went down.
I would blame the producers of the show. The energy of the show was just too mean-spirited, too pithy, too self-deprecating.
And too busy.
And what was lost, which I think was absolutely restored this year, was the respect for the industry.
There was a spirit of efficiency this year that really was consistent through most of the award shows, and it landed with the Oscars.
2022 was such a strong year for film, so it was going to be a good show. These films are more than worthy and could do all the heavy lifting. They speak for themselves.
What I think a lot of us could agree on is that the nominees this year represent an actual, like, good variety of indies, international, blockbusters.
This lined up a lot with our predictions. We were happy to see Everything Everywhere All at Once walk away with the Best Picture Oscar. We knew it was going to have a lot of goodwill.
It was the film to beat in so many respects.
That's where its wins really are special and historic because of the type of film that is. It is precisely the type of film, this wacky odyssey that would commonly never get awarded.
The Daniels are lovable dorks, and they love movies as much as we love movies, and that is obvious. So they're going to be able to make whatever they want for life.
Man, those butt plug guys can do whatever they want now.
They love butt stuff.
An overwhelming breakdown when you look at the winners. Seven awards went to Everything Everywhere All at Once. After that was
All Quiet on the Western Front.
With 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
All Quiet on the Western Front was sort of this year's Mad Max Fury Road in a lot of the technical categories. We talked about it. We called it. Score. Volker Bertelmann.
The score gets a bad rap because I feel like those, like, da-da-da, like those 3 notes from, like, All Quiet have become like the new Inception notes. Like, there is more to the score than that. Same way with Inception, there was more to the score than just the blah.
It's a confrontational, interesting variety of musical pieces that just make this film come to life. It's always going to be fascinating to me that All Quiet on the Western Front and Top Gun Maverick were nominated for Best Picture in the same year. It's just weird.
2 ends of the spectrum.
That's a
right
hell
there.
of a double feature. Man, World War I would have been so much easier if Maverick were there.
I know I joked and said The Fabelmans was like, that's the definition of a movie that gets all these nominations and wins nothing. But damn, I didn't think that, like, all the rest of the movies were going to also get nominated and win nothing. I would have liked to have seen a little more variety in the crop of winners and the spread of who won what.
We've seen sweeps before. Return of the King, Titanic. Like, it happens. But at the same time, like...
It happens, but it's rare. That's the point. It should be reserved for a year where it's just so clear that one film was just miles ahead of the others. And I don't think that was necessarily the case this year.
It's not mutually exclusive to celebrate Tar, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Banshees of Inisherin.
And that's really why we have all these separate categories at the Oscars. Some film really, its strength was really its screenplay. You know, it really exceeded that. Or there's a film where its strength was really that acting performance, like in a case we see with Brendan Fraser winning for The Whale. That's what those individual categories come down to. And it's fair to utilize them because they're there. Prime example, Best Supporting Actress, which I think was one of the most frustrating categories of the night. Complicated category. We pegged this one as the most difficult one to call. That could have gone any direction.
The frustrating thing about it is I love Jamie Lee Curtis.
Absolutely.
I think you share that opinion.
She's awesome.
It came down to a legacy race in a lot of ways. I don't think either of us are mad at Jamie Lee Curtis. It's a matter of look at these roles, look at the impact they have on the films. What do they do to strengthen those movies? You look at Angela Bassett, and every time she's on camera in Wakanda Forever, I can't look away. I am captivated by her performance. She had me keyed in emotionally to the film more so than the protagonist.
That was a prime example of an excellent opportunity to reward a film for an element, a singular element that it really did excel at. And they missed the boat not rewarding Angela Bassett or Carrie Condon for that award. Either one. That being said, the key wins were there tonight.
The Ki Hoi Kwan wins.
Oh, nice. The wins that I think deep down in our hearts, I think we can all agree on really did deserve it. They did nail with those. Best song for Natu.
Yes. And thank
that
God.
Was a rousing moment. Sarah Polley getting well-earned win for adapted screenplay. They did not,
that was excellent.
They didn't mess that up. They were
great speech too.
Miriam Toews wrote an essential novel about a radical act of democracy in which people who don't agree on every single issue manage to sit together in a room and carve out a way forward together, free of violence.
And then Best Supporting Actor. That was one of the absolute feel-good moments of the evening, was seeing Ki Hui Kwan walk away with that Best Supporting Actor Oscar. And that passionate speech.
Mom, I just want an Oscar.
I was tearing. Ariana DeBose's reaction was my reaction. I was like, oh.
It was a great way to set the tone for the show. And it honestly set the tone for how the wins were going to go. But it also was his moment. Ki Hoi Kwan mentioned in the press conference afterwards that a lot of his Goonies buddies were reaching out to him before and after the show to wish him well. I am so here for that energy. I'm so here for the lifelong friendships. And then Jeff Cohen, who played Chunk, is an entertainment lawyer who's apparently crushing it and getting Ki Hoi Kwan the best roles ever. And let's green light the short round Disney Plus series that people are trying to will into existence. Brendan Fraser was a big highlight for me. You know, I was really rooting for him. And then when it comes to Best Actress, like Michelle Yeoh winning is so cool and so amazing and singular.
Alas, my heart weeps for Tar, my girl. Y'all know I was a massive fan of that film. That was my front runner for a lot of categories. I was hoping it would at least win one. That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. It wasn't the year.
You cannot start without me.
I think that the best song nominees were a stronger batch than we usually see this year. And the performances didn't disappoint.
Natu and Lady Gaga highlights. Rihanna was great. Rihanna took me by surprise because I'll be honest, in the credits for Wakanda Forever, I didn't dislike the song, but it didn't stick with me. And then this performance elevated it a bit for me.
The only one I thought was a little off was the song from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, with David Byrne and Stephanie Shu.
Yeah, I think that song sounded better in the film, the credits in the film, than it did in the performance. I thought the performance was a little off key. Lady Gaga doing that great stripped, unplugged version of Hold My Hand was on point.
When did that wardrobe change happen?
You can always count on Lady Gaga. There are some constants. There's death, taxes, and Gaga.
You might find that you can be your own hero, even if you feel broken inside.
One of the details that I adored, this is part of what I was talking about restoring the respect and love for what these filmmakers do, were the segments detailing what makes the technical aspects of a film so special, what goes into truly great cinematography. I love that bit where Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors came up to announce it, and they stopped to just have them talk about truly things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
To show us something in a brand new way, an exciting way, and really change a way to tell a story on screen using the language of film. Where when Sigourney Weaver and Zoe Saldana was up there, and they were walking us through the evolution of the editing process, bringing the details of it to the public to let them know why it's special, what they're watching.
As cynical as one can be about the Oscars, and there's a lot to get cynical about. It's a capitalist society we live in, but let's move past that for a second and just recognize what's special about celebrating the movies.
I'm so exhausted hearing these conversations about ratings. It's the Oscars. The show should be as long as it needs to be. It should be a 3.5-hour show. We keep pitting these unrealistic expectations against the show. There's no reason to try to reach out and capture this audience that is trying to move on, or some generation that's disinterested or is fighting against the Oscars. I wish we could move beyond this. There are so many core fans, core film lovers. There's plenty of us out there. We're all you need, that love the Oscars, love just the basic celebration of film, and that is enough. There's no ratings game to play here. You have an audience that's never going to go away. I've been watching the Oscars since I was 8, 9 years old, and I will watch them till the day I die. And there are millions of people across the world who think the same thing. Personal takes, personal favorites aside, this was a benchmark year, and it's a year that's going to go down. Very famous year at the Academy for just so many firsts.
A lot of us can get on board with this spirit of resurgence. 16 of the 20 nominees were first-time nominees for acting, which is so cool.
We love years where something happens that we didn't think would happen, and people are recognized that wouldn't normally get recognized.
I think Everything Everywhere All at Once, whether you love the movie, like the movie, whatever, I think that movie is representative of the spirit of filmmaking in so many respects. I think the pros vastly outweigh the cons this year. And when the most controversial thing is Jamie Lee Curtis winning an Oscar, which isn't even controversial, let's be honest.
That overwhelming sense of goodwill and that energy, it bowls over any kind of negativity or any kind of like, well, that's not what I would have wanted. That catapults us all through the rest of this year with our heads held high and feeling good about this industry. Thank you, Oscars 2023, for being that force this year.
So all in all, really solid show this year. Really glad I was able to discuss it with you before, during, and after.
Stay tuned. Champs on Film. Stay followed. If you've been following us, thank you so much. This is so exciting. We're getting more confident every time we make one of these films because we really appreciate the support and the people who care. It really means a lot to us. So we're going to keep going. And if you're new to us, welcome. We're happy to have you here. You can follow us on Twitter at Champs on Film. And you can follow me individually at Marisol_Miraya. I'm also on Letterboxd.
And I'm at Eisenthor on Twitter and Letterboxd.
What did you think of the Oscars, though? Let us know in the comments. The favorite parts, the parts that just really got you the most excited. Let us know. And before you know it, we'll be back with another video. Have a great day, guys.